What if someone's actually started to come up with what would be the solutions?
Mm.
The only thing, the only creative thinking that we have heard over the past couple of years has been this whole dynamic of the two-state solution, which is really not a solution or a dynamic. Well, you know what the solution is, don't you? The solution is for there to be enough for everyone. That, if in fact everyone was entitled to have, if you recognize each other as humans, as spiritual beings, or maybe just simple human dignity, if you recognized each other in that sort of way and say, we are all of one species, we can put our heads together and realize that the system that we have is coming to an end. It's coming to an end because it has achieved the dynamics of its natural life. And just like Jesus 2,000 years ago was the epitome of human behavior and human experience, so too has the dynamic expanded and changed so that you all have the opportunity to, what shall we say, utilize that and please do not think that we're being religious, but utilize that dynamic of Christ consciousness to be able to create that dynamic that is going to create peace with enough for all. Food, water, shelter, healthcare, education. These are basic five things that if you put everyone on an equal playing field, there will be no more war. Look, here's a dynamic that's happening. You've got a whole bunch of Palestinian people, which are Philistines, basically in the dynamics of their racial makeup. There's the Israelis, but there's both the Sephardic and the Ashkenazi, and the Ashkenazi are more the white Europeans, and the Sephardim are more from Africa and Eastern Europe and all of that stuff. So there's two different energies involved in that dynamic. And Christianity, you know how many different sects of that, and the dynamics of Muslims, there now you've got the um, the um, the Sunni and the
The
Shia,
Shia.
and in that sort of dynamic. So look what you have in most of these circumstances. Religions in their ways have split off and divided into two separate type of camps, of which if you look at them, there's going to be a similarity in their way of thinking. One group is going to be live and let live kinds of people. The other group is going to be those that seek to control everybody else through the dynamic of fear. How about that for breaking it down to brass tacks?
So or Ezekiel, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, you and Ezekiel have said for years there's two basic types of people here on the planet,
Well,
those
but that's what we're
motivated by
talking
love.
about. There are two basic kinds of people, break it down. Are you a live and let live kind of person? Hmm. Or are you a controller? How do you feel about sexuality and free sexuality and all of that stuff? Or, some people have a very religious and a very strict dynamic on that. Other people have almost no boundaries at all. So you have and none, and they're basically just two ends of a holistic dynamic. It's a paradox. It's a paradox of energy. One on the one hand is restriction, and on the other hand is complete freedom. Well, what's the truth? The truth is looking at the dynamic holistically. Sometimes it is completely appropriate to go with complete freedom. And sometimes it is completely appropriate to go with complete restriction. But most of the time, there's all of that dynamic in between. That's right. It's more along a linear dynamic than it is an up and down dynamic. Well, because when you can hold that whole picture, when you can hold that whole picture from one extreme to the other and all of the in between, it's not specific. You're not going to know it specifically, but you're going to know it from your heart center. If you can look at that dynamic of energy and realize that, that's when you rise above to that third position.